Martin Scorsese's new film, The Irishman, just dropped on Netflix this Wednesday, and I feel like for the people who really wanted to see it, they would have seen it by now, but this is my top 10 favorite Martin Scorsese films, excluding Silence because I haven't seen it and I have no way to, but here we go. Coming in at number 10 is Mean Streets. Mean Streets is a film I watched last week in preparation for The Irishman. I've only seen it once, so that could factor into where it's placed, but I thought it was great. Robert De Niro is fantastic. Harvey Keitel is phenomenal in this. It has some of my favorite Scorsese scenes. I won't spoil any of these films, but all the scenes that take place in the bar are just fantastic. Coming in at number 9, The Aviator. Now, The Aviator has the best cinematography in any Scorsese film that I've personally seen, and Leonardo DiCaprio's performance in this is one of his best ever. The colors in this film, they really pop off the screen, and probably my favorite scene in the entire film that really shows off just the craziness of this character, Howard Hughes, is when he's washing his hands. And if you've seen the film, you know what happens, but it just holds so many great scenes. Coming in at number 8 is Shutter Island. I don't own this one. I have a few pieces of paper for the ones I don't own. Shutter Island is one of my favorite mystery thriller films of all time. Leonardo DiCaprio is once again fantastic. Mark Ruffalo is awesome in this, and just the suspense is so well done, and you go crazy along with the character. So that's something that you have to just give massive praise to Scorsese for, and the ending is one of my favorite film endings of all time. Coming in at number 7 is the newly released The Irishman. I loved it. It is one of my favorites of this year, and I feel so bad having these films so high up on my list, but if you factor in like the grade I gave them, then it just shows how much I love this film. Check out my review for The Irishman at the end of the video. Coming in at number 6 is Raging Bull, and I hate having Raging Bull at number 6 because I feel like it features one of the top 10 best performances of all time given by an actor in Robert De Niro's Jake LaMotta. I rewatched it 2 nights ago and I just loved it again. The fact that it's number 6 just pains me. It's probably my favorite sports film. I don't know, this and Rocky are kinda like tied, so I don't know, but just the fight scenes, they feel so raw, but the scenes outside of the boxing matches, and the one scene in particular with his brother, not with his brother, but talking about his brother. If you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. Just really shows De Niro's acting range, and he is fantastic and one of my favorite actors of all time. Coming in at number 5 is Casino. I gotta get these films on 4K, I know. Casino, I think I watched for the first time August, so a few months ago, and fell in love with it instantly. I knew it was going to be a good film because I'd heard so many great things about it. When I got the DVD from my aunt and uncle's house where they just said grab a few, so I'm like, okay. And I asked them, what's the best film in this thing? And they said Casino, watch it right away. So I did. And there's this feeling I get for some films. Another example I could feel is when I first watched The Shawshank Redemption, where I just feel, it's like a feeling in your stomach where you just feel blown away. And that's the feeling that Casino gave me. It is bloody, super bloody, but just the scenes, they're so good. The acting is fantastic, and Scorsese's direction is just top notch. Number 4, The Wolf of Wall Street. The Wolf of Wall Street is one of the funniest films I've ever seen, but it's a comedy and a crime film and a drama. So it is all those mixed into one, and I was expecting to really, really love this film, but not as much as I actually do. I feel like this is easily Leonardo DiCaprio's best performance in his entire career. It's 3 hours long, but it does not feel that long. I remember when I first watched it, and when it was getting close to like the end, I could kind of feel it, because the first 2 acts are kind of like the party acts, the third act is like, I won't say it, but yeah. I checked the time and I'm like, how is this at 2.5 hours? It felt like I've been watching this for an hour and a half. The pacing is amazing. Some of the funniest scenes I've ever seen, and DiCaprio's performance is one of the best I've ever seen. Coming in at number 3 was my favorite Scorsese film for about a year, until probably earlier this year when I rewatched my top 2, but I love this. It is The Departed. You have to say it like that. The Departed is such a phenomenal film. It is one of my favorites of the 2000s decade. It is one of my favorites of all time. I feel like all the performances are fantastic, the colors are amazing, and just some of the scenes. Every single time I watch the film, some of these scenes, they just blow me away. And I love the ending to this film, but it's not just the ending, it has some of the best camera movement inside of Scorsese's filmography, and this scene is one of my favorite scenes of all time.
Fuck yourself.
I'm tired from fucking your wife.
How's your mother?
Good, she's tired from fucking my father. Good.
Coming in at number 2 features my favorite film performance of all time, and that is Taxi Driver. Robert De Niro's performance in this is my favorite performance of all time for films, and I just feel like he is perfect. This is one of those perfect films where there's not a single flaw in it. The whole film kind of builds up to the fantastic finale, one of the best third acts ever, but this is one of the best films ever made. But coming in at number 1, you know what it is. It's Goodfellas. Come on, it can't. What else could it be? Goodfellas is one of my favorite films of all time. It's probably in my top 10, if not then like top 12. It's my favorite gangster crime film. Like, I know Pulp Fiction, that's my favorite film, but since that mixes so many genres, it's a crime film. But when I talk about crime, first thing I think of is Goodfellas, and that's because it is so good. I've rewatched this film probably 5 or 6 times. It's that good. I did a whole school project on it a few weeks ago. There's not a single flaw. It's one of the best films ever made. Now the performances are fantastic. Ray Liotta's Henry Hill is my second favorite Scorsese performance, we'll say, like performance inside of a Scorsese film. He's fantastic. The supporting cast, Joe Pesci is my second favorite supporting performance of all time, only following Heath Ledger's The Joker. And Robert De Niro, he's Robert De Niro, he's fantastic in this. And Lorraine Brasco is probably my favorite performance by an actress in a crime film ever. Everyone in this film is on the top of their game. It is my favorite Martin Scorsese film and one of my favorites of all time. Thank you for watching my Martin Scorsese list. Comment your favorites down below. Do you agree with my ranking? Is there some that I missed? And I'll see you guys next time. Over and out.